ever read a textbook and have no idea what it means? Try close reading. Close reading will help you better understand concepts in nonfiction books. It focuses on finding the precise meaning of a text through a variety of signposts that you can look for. Signposts are guides that will help you to find specific details in a text. So, when you're reading nonfiction passages, don't wince, QUINCE. QUINCE stands for quoted words, unfamiliar vocab, illustrations, numbers, and statistics, contrasts and contradictions, and extreme or absolute language. When you're reading, you should be on the lookout for these signposts and always ask questions. There are all types of examples in your science textbook of these signposts. On page 379, look at how the author relates chemical structures to spider silk. This connection helps to give the reader a mental picture for the concept of chemical structures that's more familiar. You're more likely to remember what chemical structures are now, right? Quoted words happen when a text quotes someone else's information and sometimes refers to other studies or research. When you see this, ask yourself, why was this person quoted or cited and what did it add to the text? For this signpost, look for references or quoted words from the author. Quoted words help you think about what the author's point of view and purpose is. If you turn back to page 374, you'll see an example of unfamiliar vocab, the U in QUINCE. Usually, there will be bold or italic fonts or comparisons to emphasize a word. When the author uses words that you don't know, stop and ask, do I know this word from somewhere else, or is it a word experts would use? Try finding context clues in the sentence to help you better understand the word. If you ask yourself these questions, you'll be able to determine if you should look the word up or keep reading for more information. On page 374, the word oxidation number, that may be unfamiliar to the reader, is bolded, and its definition is included to the right. Use the definition and context clues the author gives you to help you read closely. This word is important for you to understand what you're reading, now and further in the text, so make sure you grasp what it means before continuing on. The I in QUINCE represents illustrations. For illustrations, look for charts, diagrams, or pictures to display the information presented in the text. Always ask yourself, why did the author add this picture, and what did it add to the text? On page 374, Table 15.1 shows different oxidation numbers that correspond to each atom, which links the definition of oxidation number you learned above to a more complex concept. This adds a different level of understanding by letting you see what you're reading. The N in QUINCE stands for numbers and statistics. Look for specific quantities within a text or non-specific amounts, such as the word many. Sometimes authors use numbers, statistics, or general amounts to add precision to what you're reading. These numbers can help you make comparisons, take note of certain details, and recognize evidence. Consider why the author might have used those numbers. On page 374, several oxidation numbers are mentioned, giving you multiple examples. The C in QUINCE stands for contrasts and contradictions. For this signpost, look for contrasts between text elements, which often means looking for transitional phrases like however and other words that internally prompt the reader. Be sure to pay attention to opposing ideas in the text and ask, what is the difference between the two things and why does it matter? Consider what you know and what is happening in the text, or the difference between two or more things. When you recognize these contrasts and contradictions, you will make comparisons, note cause and effect relationships, and be able to figure out the author's purpose. Page 374 mentions that many elements have more than one possible oxidation number. Then, on page 375, the author provides an example with nitrogen. The last signpost, or the E in QUINCE, stands for extreme or absolute language. This is when the author uses exaggerated language and might make untrue claims. Ask, why did the author use this language, and think about what the author's point of view is. Examples can include words like none or all, and include large generalizations. Most science texts won't have this, and for a good reason. Extreme language often indicates a bias or opinion, which makes nonfiction sources less trustworthy for accurate information. On page 367, the author writes, the properties of a compound depend much more on the exact structure of its molecule, using much in this case to add emphasis rather than share a bias. Remember, take advantage of everything provided in the text because the author only wants to help you understand what you're reading. Now, when you read nonfiction, think, don't wince, QUINCE.